You really will. I thought the Wayne State series was kind of the first time that we put a lot of it together. I thought base running we ran the bases really well. Defensively we played pretty good. We swung the bats. I thought pitching we threw a lot better than what some of the numbers looked like. So the Wayne State series we started really putting together. I think Augie, the game we won, obviously we played a really good game. Obviously, the guy threw a pretty good game against us the first one, and game 3 was just a good game against 2 good teams. So, and then Upper Iowa, I thought we played a really good game in pretty tough conditions. So, I thought that was a pretty good trip for us. I thought our guys played. I thought we're finally starting to see the team that we want to be, and we're getting there.
Well, who are a couple guys, both on the mound, at the plate, in the field, that have kind of maybe not surprised you, but kind of stepped up to play a bigger role than you could have anticipated?
Yeah, you know what? There are a lot of guys. I mean, Bagshaw's starting to come around as a freshman. He's starting to throw pretty well for us, and obviously RJ Martinez have been throwing the ball really well for us. And Don Parkhurst has been lights out for us so far. So he's one guy who I think's really taken a step for us. And then our back end of the pen with Chapman, Kern have been really good. So those guys on the mound, the usual suspects, and then Dom and Bagshaw, Badger's throwing really well as a freshman as well. So at the plate, Jordan Williams has been swinging it pretty good still. And offensively, it's fun. We're putting up some runs, but we don't have some of our dudes clicking on all cylinders yet. So I think that makes us a pretty dangerous team once we do start figuring it out. So Declan Buckle came back from missing the first few games. He's been swinging it, which is good to see. And Dylan Buckmeyer against Wayne State came out and his first real chance of going out and showing who he can be. Had a huge day with 5 or 6 hits, and it was on base 7 or 8 times. So that was really good to see with Bucky.
And we talked to a couple of players today, and they mentioned how the slow start at the very beginning of the year was maybe a bit of a mentality issue, just not completely locked in. How do you think? How have you experienced that from the coaching perspective?
Yeah, I think they're exactly right. I mean, it's kind of been the theme of what we've done the last few years. Starting a little bit slow and then starting to turn it on and find our groove kind of right about now every year. So the mentality side of things is getting pretty locked in with us right now. I see some guys kind of turn some corners. And getting into conference play and getting into a meaty part of our conference play coming up here. I think our guys are locked and loaded, and today coming out and kind of relaxing a little bit and getting things back in the groove is going to help. And I think we're getting there. That's for sure.
A lot of talent in the NSIC as a whole. What are a few things that you still need to even improve upon more so to get to where you want to be in the league?
I think just cleaning a lot of things up. I think our bullpen needs to throw a little bit more strikes coming into some situations. Offensively, we need to get some of our horses clicking, and I think a lot of them are really, really close, which is good. So on the bases, we've been good defensively. I think we played pretty good defense. And again, our starters have kept us in the game. Our back end of the guys, when we get to them, have been as good as it gets. So I think some of our middle bullpen guys need to come in and compete a little bit better with some strikes, and then offensively just get everybody clicking at the same time, because we haven't had that yet. We're still putting up some runs, so it's pretty exciting to see. So once we get there, we're going to be pretty dangerous.
My approach is just keeping it simple for the most part. Just taking what the pitcher throws at me, having a simple approach, but mainly focus on in the first pitch fastball, anything closer. Then after that, I'll adjust and go from there. Yeah.
Do you think your approach is kind of transferred over to some of the other guys? How do you think the team has really jumped out to the start of the season?
Start of the season, I feel like we were kind of having a hard time kind of being aggressive early in the count. Our strikeouts is pretty high at this point, but at this point we've adjusted really well, and we're finding ways to put balls in place and get on base even more. So I feel like this is a good, even more start of our team throughout the midseason, and I feel really great and for the team and us too. So
some of the offensive performances have been kind of leaning on that long ball and kind of relying on home runs to produce runs and win ball games. Do you think that's something that you guys are going to need to continue to do, or will you have the ability to kind of diversify your approach there and win ball games in a little bit different fashion?
Like for the most part, just find ways to get on base anyway. How we gotta compete at the plate. That's really all that really matters. Long balls, they'll come if we just catch hard barrels. But for the most part, be a team player, be competitive at the plate, and just put your best effort, and the outcome is gonna play out. So that's pretty much it.
This next week, you got the official conference home opener coming up against Concordia. looking at the rest of the schedule and the NSIC opponents in particular, how challenging is this league to succeed in, and what are a few things that you particularly, and then you guys as a team, are going to need to focus on to get to where you want to be?
Like I say, we're a really talented team. Of course, we can play against any competition. I definitely believe that, and I think for the most part, just playing to our level instead of the other team's level, regardless on if they're the top seed or if they're the lower seed in our conference. We just gotta play our best and put in our effort and just play the game.
You know, I feel like I've been really good at letting my defense work, just going out there, trusting the defense, and just being able to have the confidence that I know they're going to make the plays no matter where it's hit.
Do you think your defense, you know, a lot of experience out there in the field and at the plate, do you think that's an advantage that MSU has against other NSIC competition?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we got a lot of returners from last year that when we faced Mesa, we really learned a lot about ourselves as a team, and we have a lot of the returners from that series. So having that experience against top competition is really good under our belts.
And looking at the games that have already happened, right? What have been some of the highs and the lows, kind of the strengths and the weaknesses of the team as a whole, do you think?
I think the highs we've been really consistent about getting on, getting guys over, stuff like that, being aggressive on the base pass. Pitching has been hit or miss a little bit, I'd say. We've had some situations where we could have been better with walks, stuff like that, but I feel as a whole we're at a really good point right now, and I think we're only going to continue to climb.
And looking forward to the rest of the season. You got the official conference home opener coming up next week. What are some things that you guys are going to have to continue to build upon if you want to get where you want to be?
Again, just being consistent with pitching, I think, is something we've been lacking a little bit. I think we're going to start building into that a little bit more, which is limiting walks, getting leadoff guys out, stuff like that, and then continuing hitting. We've been hitting really well, and it's fun to watch.